It's great to have you with us from wherever you're tuning in from. For more information about Elevate Church or to contact us, head to our website elevatechurch.me and take us wherever you go by downloading our Elevate Church AU app. We hope this message inspires and helps you to take your next steps in your journey.
It's fair to say that the title of this series is the embodiment of an aspirational goal. Love like Jesus, or at least have a go. Get as close as you can. That's a high bar, right? And we launched this series last week. Rob Mason, one of our great teaching team members, taught about Jesus forgives sinners. And one of the most important takeaways that we can grab from that is this idea that forgiven people forgive people. Whilst hurt people hurt people, that we can actually forgive others because we who have committed our lives to become followers of Jesus have actually first been forgiven. And that same release that we've experienced, we can actually release others. And so if you missed that last week, and just it was powerful. It's not one of those messages like, our prayer team prayed for people, and I'm just guessing some of those people that got prayed for, it was about, wanting more of God's power to help forgive people who have hurt them in the past, and just love that. So go back, you can listen to that on our podcast. And also wanted to let you know right at the front is that there's a Bible plan around this series, Love Like Jesus. So, and we've set that in the Bible app in our Elevate Church page, which you can scan this and set Elevate as your church. We've put that in there. It's a 13-day plan. I've started it. Some of our team have started it. And this is a series, and this plan works in concert with that as well. It's really all about us increasing our focus on Jesus in the run-up to Easter, and really getting a greater appreciation. And even if it's like, I know how the story ends, yawn fest, let's never be that people, never be those people. Always be like Jesus, reveal more, show me more about what this sacrifice that you did means. Now, it's March 2023. I know you know that. One of the reasons this particular month is significant is that 3 years ago, this little thing called a global pandemic showed up on basically everyone's radar screen. So we're now 3 years later and post-peak COVID around the world. It's still there, but it's obviously past peak COVID. And what's happening is there's a lot of analyses taking place. Governments are looking back at their response and trying to learn, what did we do well? What did we not do well? And how can we be better prepared for, what's inevitably going to be the next thing at some point in the future? So there's a postmortems happening in governments, workplaces are doing that because, as many of you know, the nature of work changed in many industries around the world. And then there's a lot of social commentary. People actually publishing articles about how the pandemic and the responses and lockdowns and mandates and so on and so forth, what impact that's had on culture, how culture has shifted invariably in many instances. And I remember reading one of those social commentators' articles a few months ago, and the headline is what grabbed my attention. The headline was this: pandemic has accelerated selfishness. It didn't say it's created it, because I'm pretty sure there was selfishness on the planet before March 2020, but their observation is that COVID and the responses and everything that's kind of gone with it has accelerated selfishness. That people have come out of lockdowns and beyond being told you have to get jabs in your arms and all the stuff that we were told that you can do this, you can't do this, you can exercise, but not more than 5 kilometers from your house and only once a day and only for 1 hour. And we kind of look back on some of that and think, it sounds a little bonkers, but that was the reality. and that there's a lot of people around the world who've come out swinging. And they're saying, no one is ever again going to tell me what I can and can't do. You're not the boss of me. And this idea that COVID has accelerated selfishness. Well, here's a Venn diagram that I put up, and it's about to be color corrected because Bradley's a genius. This is a picture that I have in my mind. You don't want to spend much time inside my head, trust me. But this is one that's actually quite helpful. And it's a very simple Venn diagram in that this is just me. I use this to try and, as I live in our prevailing culture, and every day I live in our prevailing culture, and I have been since I was born, try to identify what aspects of prevailing culture overlap with kingdom culture, and then what aspects of kingdom culture don't overlap with prevailing culture. So some overlap, and that's great, but one of the problems is a goldfish doesn't feel wet because a goldfish doesn't have an alternative frame of reference, okay? And one of the problems that we face is we live in our prevailing culture, and the longer we live in our prevailing culture, the more everything just is normalized. That's why when you travel to a very different a country with a very different culture, you think some things are bonkers, and the locals are like, "What are you talking about?" And vice versa. So it's very difficult to get this right. But it's also very important to get this right because the promises of God are only experienced in kingdom culture. Okay? And the reason I'm raising this, having just double-clicked on this idea that the pandemic has accelerated selfishness, is that selfishness has no place in kingdom culture. And whilst the pandemic may have accelerated selfishness, God's plan for how his church operates has not shifted one single millimeter. Jesus gave many examples of what living unselfishly looks like, including what we now call the Last Supper, but it wasn't called the Last Supper. It's called the Last Supper now because it just happened to be the Last Supper that Jesus did. But it was actually the Passover meal. And Jesus had, it was Thursday night, 24 hours before Jesus was actually hung on a cross and put to death. He gathered his 12 closest disciples together for this customary Jewish Passover meal. And during that time, he did a profound gesture that reinforced what it looks like to live unselfishly. And I'm going to read what John recorded. When Jesus had finished washing their feet, he put on his clothes and returned to his place. "Do you understand what I've done for you?" He asked them. "You call me teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for this is what I am. Now that I'm your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you should also wash one another's feet. So I've set you an example that you should do as I've done for you. And very truly I tell you, no servant is greater than his master, nor a messenger greater than the one who sent him. Now that you know these things, you will be blessed if you do them." It's a choice. So here we are in a pretty developed country. It's very difficult for us to grasp the enormity of what it meant for Jesus to have washed his disciples' feet. See, there was no paved roads back then. Every road and path was an unsealed one, shared with donkeys, other livestock, etc. And people wore open-toed sandals back then. So when you came to someone's house for dinner, your feet were pretty nasty. Simple as that. And so what was customary that the host, when you came in the door, would say to you, great, like let's take care of your feet. Let's wash your feet before we serve the food. It was a bit of a hygiene thing as much as it was also like a gesture of the host, being hospitable. The catch is, though, that the host would never be the one to have the job of doing the feet washing. It was below them. And when I say below them, the job was given to whoever in that household was the lowest on the organizational chart. A servant, and even probably in some cases a slave. It was their job. And Jesus, he did that job. He took the towel that a slave or a servant would have used, and he did what only a slave or a servant would have done. And his disciples, they got that. That this is not the job reserved for the Son of God. This is a job reserved for the lowest of the low. There's no adequate. I was thinking during the week, how would this compare today? And there's no adequate comparison. I mean, okay, Prime Minister Albanese pops over this Saturday to your house and offers to mow your lawn. Yeah, doesn't quite stack up. Joe Biden zooms in on Air Force One and offers to clean your toilet. Okay, we're getting there, but there's no adequate comparison for the Son of God having washed your feet as a demonstration of servanthood. And very truly I tell you, no servant is greater than his master, nor a messenger greater than the one who sent him. Now that you know these things, you will be blessed if you do them. It is a choice. And we as Jesus followers are actually called to do this in two arenas outside the church, like in the wild, 7 days a week, and then also in the context of the church, the two big arenas. I'm going to focus more on the context of the church today, but it's important that we don't overlook the importance of what it means to be a servant in the wild. Last Saturday morning, I did my customary Bunnings run. Louis' car's available. I grab the Louis Mobile. I go down to my local Bunnings, which is like a micro Bunnings. I'm going to buy bags of compost. Not really kind of designed to fit on a Vespa. So I get the Louis Mobile. I go to my Bunnings. I know where the compost section is. I grab the trolley at the front. It's a Saturday morning. I'm just going to do a quick in and out. I'm there. I get my bags, scan my Flybuys card. See you next Saturday. I'm out. So I've got my stack of compost bags, 25 liters each, and I'm pushing them up. There's a little ramp that leads out of my Bunnings, so you have to sort of it's you kind of you got to work for this. You got to work to get out of there, basically. And I'm sort of halfway up the ramp, and in front of me, I spot there's a lady probably in her mid-60s. She's got the same stack of compost bags that I've got, so, we're thinking alike here. And she's pushing up this ramp I think I can. And I'm not convinced she's going to make it, but anyway, she was giving it a go. And then I noticed what was probably her mum was with her. She's on a wheelie frame. She's probably in her mid to late 80s, I'm guessing, very frail. And they both made it to the top of the ramp. You'll be happy to know. So the story's so far so good. And they parked in the blue disabled, is that Acrod? Anyway, the point is the VIP parking section, which is right outside the sliding doors of this Bunnings. And I'm behind them, and now I've made it up the ramp successfully, even though I had to slow it down a little bit. Lost a bit of traction, a bit of momentum. I get to the top, and now this lady has her car, her trolley, her mum's wheelie framey thing, herself, blocking the only way you can get out of that Bunnings exit door. And I'm like, so I go full Aaron mode. Aaron is the male version of Karen. I go full Aaron mode. I lit up on this lady because I'm like, seriously? lady, I'm a quick in and out. You are really mucking up my schedule today. I mean, how long are you and your frail, useless mother going to be in my way? And get those bags loaded and that trolley out of the way so No, I did none of that. But here's the thing, right? Like, hopefully you're not surprised to learn that that's all fake news. My reaction, like, thank God he didn't do that. I mean, but you guys, I'm telling you, like, that doesn't sound like something Mark would do. No, it's not. But here's the thing. It sounds like something someone would do. It sounds like something that might pop up in your TikTok or your Instagram because someone's got their phone out and they're filming Aaron lighting up on this lady. But instead, I unbuttoned my shirt, revealed the Superman logo, and I said, "Sweetheart, can I help you in any way?" It's fine, And she said, "No, we'll be okay." And I was surprised that she didn't take my help. I mean, come on. And like at the moment, I'm like, well, when you finish loading your compost bags, can you follow me to the Louismobile? I need a bit of help myself. But it's not very heroic. I think that's just like what we should be doing as good citizens of our great nation, and also as Jesus followers. And in fact, this is the thing, particularly in our prevailing culture now, when you act unselfishly, when you serve other people, I think it's actually amplified more than ever in the history of the world. Like, I think it will actually surprise people more than it's ever surprised people in decades gone by. Like, really? And actually, and it's not like to be a trick, but it actually has the potential to fast track your building of influence and trust in someone else's life because they get to see that you're not just in this for what you can get out of it. And it's this idea that serving wasn't what Jesus did. Rather, a servant is who Jesus was. And he, at this Thursday night Passover meal, gave this enormous demonstration of servanthood, and then 24 hours later gave the ultimate demonstration of what it means to be a servant by allowing himself to be killed on a cross. All right, confession time. About 3 years ago, around the time of lockdown 1.0, Louis and I developed a new addiction. There's a show on TV called House Hunters. It's produced by the HGTV, Home and Gardens TV network in America. And is anyone familiar with House Hunters? All right, I mean, don't start, trust me. There's no getting off that treadmill. The premise of the show is that there's an individual, couple, or family. They're looking for somewhere to move into, a new apartment, a new house. It might be in a new city. It might be in a different state, new country, whatever. And they'll sit down with a real estate agent. This is how the show opens. And the agent asks them, what do you want? What are you looking for? Well, this many bedrooms. We want a balcony. And then they say, okay, what's your budget? Or our budget's this. And then the agent, takes them on to three different properties, and then at the end of the show, they choose which one that they wanted to buy or rent. And now there is 1 million episodes. There's House Hunters Asia and House Hunters Renovation, and it's Tiny House. It's just, they're milking this thing. I've probably watched all of them anyways. What you may not know is there's been a spin-off called Church Hunters. Anyone familiar with that? Seen that one? Yeah, okay. Here's an episode. Check this out.
Previously on Church Hunters.
This is your first church. This is Creekside First Baptist.
Honestly, right up front, didn't love the name.
The Sunday morning experience was just a little too traditional.
Hey guys, how we doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
Doing good.
So I know you didn't love the traditional vibe of the last place, okay? But I think this church is really gonna do it for you.
Yeah?
It takes relevance to a whole new level. Behind me, you will see molded clay, jar art, tapestry, canvas, mosaic church.
I love
beautiful.
it.
Right? So you've heard of interdenominational,
Right.
and you've heard of non-denominational. Well, this church identifies as inter-non-denominational.
Wow, that's perfect for us. It really is.
But here's the kicker. A lot of celebrities go here.
Yeah.
What?
Jeff Foxworthy.
We love him.
Yep.
We really do.
Ben Higgins from ABC's The Bachelor.
Perfect.
Several Real Housewives.
Ooh,
And Usher even came here one time. Yeah.
shut up.
Yeah, well, follow me. Come on.
Do it.
So refreshing. Honestly, that last church was just way too traditional. It was
Yeah.
too much.
It was like we left there feeling convicted. Like, ugh, right?
Right. We're looking for more of a Tony Robbins type sermon.
Like inspiration, like a TED Talk with a Bible verse.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Right?
It's perfect here.
We love it.
It really is.
We love it.
Awesome. Cool. Well, you guys know a lot of contemporary pastors speak out of the Message Translation Bible.
Right.
Or this pastor speaks out of a brand new translation. It's the Tumblr Bible.
We love Tumblr, though.
This is great.
Wow.
A lot of emojis, a lot of abbreviations.
Oh, I couldn't ask for. And how many seats in here?
Oh, it is 6,000 altogether.
Babe, 6,000. I gotta be in this worship band.
That's
Imagine me up on that jumbotron mid guitar solo.
Do you know how many Instagram likes you get? Oh my gosh. We find it hard to find a church right now because I grew up Catholic.
I grew up
and
Baptist, so.
So, like, we drink.
Yeah, but in private. I mean, obviously you get it. Basically, in terms of like worship, I think we're looking for like a Jesus culture type feel.
Oh, I love
Right.
them.
At Hillsong, obviously.
Oh,
Obviously-
lead me to the cross?
Hillsong's great. Like a Bethel minus the spontaneous
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Just for me, I connect in worship more when the leader is attractive. Personally, I'm a Carrie Job guy.
Oh, okay. Well, she's married.
So is Christian Stanfield.
Wow.
So one of my personal favorite things about this church is the service times. There's an 8:30, a 10, a 1 o'clock, a 5:30, and even a 7 o'clock service.
Oh, there's something around like 2-ish?
Yeah, for us, for what we need, 2:15 is best.
Yes.
How many songs do they do during worship?
Usually 5, 5.5, depending on where the Spirit leads.
Wow, babe, is that a lot?
Well, if that's too much for you, they have a program here called the Worship Assist Program.
Okay.
So if you ever get tired during worship, an intern will come out and just hold your arms up. You just keep worshiping the King of Glory.
Just like that, I love it. You can still look super spiritual.
And my arms get so tired from yoga.
Same.
I actually like this church. I think we can make it work.
It was all right. I mean, it was good, but like I emailed the pastor and he didn't immediately respond. So we're taking these vessels elsewhere.
Now, in case you're wondering, that is a fictional show, but it could very well be a camera following people around who are church hunting. And I know this because I meet people who are church hunting every week, which is great. We somehow every week we have people church hunting show up here. We made the list, and I asked them like, "What's on your wish list?" I'm the real estate agent guy in this scene, and look, if they've got kids, it's quite common. They said, we looking for a church with an effective kids ministry. I get that. That sounds like a great motivation. If one of the responses that I'm hearing more and more is connection, people looking for connection, not a show. I'm like, great, okay, perfect, But by Jesus' standard, the gold standard answer would be, I'm looking for a church where I can use the gifts and talents and passions and experiences that God's allowed me to have and be used in service of Him. I know, right? And I have never heard someone give me that answer in 25 years as a professional Christian. And I'm not saying that cynically, but I'm just saying this is the idea. That's the gold standard. See, here's where the house hunter's metaphor actually falls away, is that when we're looking to get planted into a church, we're not actually, the transaction isn't to occupy something that's going to meet our needs. The gold standard is to plant ourselves somewhere where we can be used by the King of Kings to reach people and build people. That's the gold standard. And this has played out strongly in my life. Doesn't mean I'm perfect by any stretch, but I grew up in the Catholic Church, a bit like the girl in the show that drinks. If you're not familiar with the Catholic model, basically the model is that the people come and watch the priest do the things. Okay, and this is observation, not criticism, but that's that model. And in my early 20s, that model started to really jar with me. That I started to ask the question, I started reading my Bible, I think was probably the jump-off point. And I read this and other things like it. Paul wrote to the church in Ephesus that Jesus handed out gifts of apostle, prophet, evangelist, and pastor teacher. These are like the big wigs in the church. But here's why. Not to do the things, rather to train Christ's followers in skilled servant work, working within Christ's body, the church, until we're all moving rhythmically and easily with each other, efficient and graceful in response to God's Son, fully mature adults, fully developed within and without, fully alive like Christ. I wanted in on this deal, to move from spectator to getting in the game. Leave the stands and jump on the playing field. In fact, we now have the language to move from consumer to contributor. And it's very much informed our code here as Elevate Church, which we literally say one of the things that embodies us as a church is that we're contributors, not consumers. And in fact, if you scroll down to this on our website, it's going to say this below. You read this. Our personal preferences, we're not saying that they're unimportant, but that they take second place. That the church doesn't exist for us. Duh, we are the church. And we exist for the world. We invest our time and money to see our mission fulfilled. See, a consumer asks the question, what's in it for me? A contributor says, God, please use me. Yeah. Very different perspectives. And here's the thing that it's a bit of a head scratcher to me. See, God created the heavens and the earth by merely speaking them into existence, right? So, therefore, theoretically, God could build his church and see his ultimate mission fulfilled by simply speaking it into existence. Job done, game over, see you in heaven. And yet he doesn't. Take it up with him, can't explain why not, but he doesn't. In fact, the mechanics are that Jesus said, I will build my church with you and me on the front lines as contributors, not consumers, being called, chosen, handpicked by the creator of the heavens and the earth. I'm like, are you sure? Mark, I want you to do this in my kingdom. Are you sure? Have you read my resume? It stinks. You knew what I did last summer. Yeah, and in your 20s, are you sure? Yeah, yes, I'm sure. I'm not looking for perfect people. In fact, our greatest ability is availability. It's saying, God, here I am, send me. What's the assignment? Send me. And so we don't here as a church, we don't talk about, so anyway, we need more helpers in the host team. Can anyone help, please? Because that's not the premise here. The premise is that we as leaders and in our church, we're to provide opportunities and training and equipping so that people can actually find their fit and be contributors and actually get a clearer understanding of, I think I just figured out another piece of the puzzle as to why I'm here. And I don't just mean like here on earth, I mean like here in Perth, here at Elevate Church, and yeah, this being used by God stuff, it's super fulfilling, like super fulfilling. But we only know that if we take that next step. And so cue the Jared as to what that might look like for you.
We really hope you got a lot out of this message. If you live in the Perth area, we'd love for you to join one of our live experiences. For times and directions, as well as information, head to our website, elevatechurch.me. For those of you beyond the Perth area, we'd love for you to connect with our online experience, which premieres every Sunday via YouTube and Facebook Live, and on demand immediately after. And to partner with us to reach more people by giving financially, head to our website, elevatechurch.me, and also download our Elevate Church AU app.